Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bat Around. I'm your host, Paul Valley. With me, as always, from Pigtown Sports, he is Zack Moore. Today's show brought to you by Help My Gambling Problem. If you or a loved one has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. That's 1-800-GAMBLER or helpmygamblingproblem.org for free confidential services. Today's show also brought to you by Warnken Law. When you need results in Baltimore, you don't play small ball. If you've been hurt in a crash, call 443-RESULTS or visit warnkenlaw.com. That's 443-RESULTS or visit warnkenlaw.com. Zack, how we doing, man? How was your 2 weeks off from the show?
It was good. It was good. I got finally a little bit of rest. Been playing a lot of baseball with the boys, so it's been a good time. The Orioles decided to start playing some great baseball in that same time frame. So things around Baltimore have been fairly good. How was vacation?
Vacation was awesome. Mainly like just stuff for my daughter. 2.5 years old. Took her to Ocean City for the third straight year. Still terrified of sand and ocean water, but she is a fish, man.
It gets better.
She loves the pool. Loves
Good.
the pool. We put her on rides last year, and she had like expressionless looks on
Yeah.
her face. This year we put her on the rides, and she cried her eyes out, and they had to stop all the rides early. Which and
Next
like
year will be completely different. I promise.
I'm sure I saw something somewhere where they said that you never take the same kid to on vacation, and I think
Yeah.
that that's true.
Oh, for
So
sure.
I'm really looking forward to what man. She had so much fun. We had so much fun. It was awesome.
Nice.
Look, lots to talk about on the show today. We don't want to bury the lead. Kyle Bradish, 5-year, $90 million extension to stay with the Orioles for the foreseeable future, buying out 3 years of free agency. He joined Shane Baz for the next 5 years in this Orioles rotation. Orioles on a 7-game win streak heading into Boston to take on the Red Sox, who are on a 13-game win streak. Can't win for losing, man. They win 7 in a row, but the team directly in front of them in the wild card has won 13 in a row. So go figure. But you know what? We love it that they're playing their best baseball of the year. So we're not gonna, you know,
Not going to dwell
whine
on it.
about that. Exactly. But before we get into all of that, oh, there was also a draft that happened, and the Orioles made several picks, including the seventh overall pick, Eric Booth. We have Jake Hassan from Game Day Garage and Hassan's Hacks on Substack joining us. He is a Major League Baseball and college baseball analyst. He's going to be joining us on the show today. But before we get into all of that, I know how I'm perceived on social media. It doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, like I am a human being, so like it does bother me. But like I like to think that I'm realistic about the team and I'm critical in the areas where I need to be critical. I said something about Gunnar Henderson since our last show on social media that I wanted to apologize for. And I said that I fully expected Gunnar Henderson to be a 40-40 player this year. I thought he was going to have a monster season. I thought he was going to be an MVP candidate. And he hasn't been that, right?
Yeah.
And I said that I didn't account for how mentally weak Gunnar Henderson is. And I want to step back from that. I shouldn't have said that. It was wrong. I wanted to apologize for that. I had Gunnar on this show back when we used to do it at the Press Box Studios. He was on this show and he was tearing it up at Double A 4 or 5 years ago. And it was a great interview. He was a great kid. We talked a lot about his game and about his Lego building contest with Colton Cowser. And so I asked myself sometime last week while I was on vacation, would Gunnar have come on my show if he had known that in the future I would call him mentally weak on social media? And the answer to that question is assuredly no. And I tried to post a video twice to give this apology, and it just would not post on Twitter, so I wanted to do it here. I don't think that Gunnar Henderson is mentally weak. But I also think that if you were to ask Gunnar, are your struggles because of your ability? No. Are your struggles because of talent or skill? No. Are your struggles mental right now? I think he would say yes. So, but your struggles being mental does not mean you're mentally weak. Baseball is a very, very difficult game. Hardest sport in the world. One of the reasons that we love this game.
Yep.
Do I think that Gunnar Henderson is mentally weak? No. Do I think that Gunnar Henderson is facing the longest stretch of adversity in his entire baseball life and is having a hard time getting out of it. And he's just pressing, like you said, 100%. Firmly believe that that's the case with Gunnar Henderson. So I try not to personally attack players, and I let that one slip. So just wanted to put it out there that I'm not going to go personally attack players ever again. Apologies to Gunnar and the fans that saw that. That whether you agree with me or not, calling somebody mentally weak in a public forum is not the right thing to do, and I don't want to be that type of person. So I apologize for that. I do think Gunnar needs to play better, and I think this team would be better if he was playing better. But personal attacks don't need to happen. So I just want to apologize for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best you can do at this point. But listen, the Orioles have found a way to keep their head above water without Gunnar Henderson, which is kind of a testament to everybody else around them. And like my title tonight is they found an identity. And I think coming into the season, we all expected that identity to be on the offensive side and to carry the pitching. And I almost think that pitching is now the identity of the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they've invested in it pretty heavily, especially this season. You look down in the minor leagues, they acquired a lot of pitching. This draft here was a lot of pitching. The top 30 is more than half of pitching. So maybe the tides have turned, and now the Baltimore Orioles' identity is pitching, which I don't think we would have ever imagined saying coming into this season. But, I mean, these guys, I think Jacob Calvin-Meyer put it up. They're the second best ERA since May 22nd.
Yeah, 3.02 ERA, second only to the Tigers at 2.88. They've been exceptional.
Rogers, Brandon Young. I mean, we're going to start calling Brandon Young at this point Amazon or FedEx because all he does is deliver.
Dude, we loved this rotation coming into the year. We didn't get that true ace at the top of the rotation, but we anticipated Rogers with the way he pitched last year. Kyle Bradish knowing what he can do. Shane Baz, 5 pitches, can touch triple digits with the fastball. Chris Bassett. We thought that this was going to be, and then Eflin. We thought this was going to be a really solid rotation. And for the last 2 months, it has been, but, it didn't start out that way. Rogers and Bradish really struggled to start the year. Now they are totally locked in right now. Baz is giving you 6-7 innings every time out there. And Brandon Young, he was the Orioles' 8th starter coming into the year. We didn't want him in the rotation. We thought if he's making several starts for your team, something catastrophic has happened. He's been arguably your most consistent pitcher since April.
He's been probably the most valuable Oriole.
Yeah.
Because honestly, when everybody else was really struggling, he wasn't. And he was a stopper that they needed. I don't know how many times through the rotation, and it's awesome to see. I mean, credit goes out to Drew French. Honestly, I know a lot of people question like why was he retained when they had a brand new coaching staff and whatnot. Like, what did he do? And look, the things didn't start off great to start this season, and I 100% agree with that. And I think anybody would probably say the same thing. But whatever they have done internally, I don't know who gets the credit, but I'm going to give it to Drew French. I think he's done a fantastic job kind of getting these guys to right that ship and just pretty much lead the team right now.
Yeah, starting rotation has been the backbone of this team, and that's why when we sit here talking about what the team's needs are. Yeah, we'd love to see them acquire an ace for a playoff run here, but it's not the top priority. The top priority is
they got to hit.
they got to get some production out of third base, out of center field, and they need some relief help. We're gonna get into all that later on in the show, but first, the Orioles picked 7th overall in the Major League Draft over All-Star Weekend. Joining us, you might know him from Hassan's Hacks on Substack and as a host of Game Day Garage. He is an MLB and college baseball analyst. His name is Jake Hassan. Jake, thank you for joining us here on the Bat Around. How are you today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me on. Excited to talk about some of these prospects with you guys.
Yeah, we're definitely excited to talk about some of them with you. We're just going to talk about the 4. Otherwise, we'd be here for 3 hours talking about this tonight. The Orioles picked 7th overall, 46th overall, 82nd overall, and 110th overall. With their first pick in the 7th overall in the first round, they took high school outfielder Eric Booth Jr. out of Oak Grove High School in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. This is an 18-year-old left-handed hitting, left-handed throwing outfielder. He immediately jumped up to number 65 on the MLB Top 100 Prospects list after the Orioles drafted him. arguably the best outfielder in the draft this year. Super athletic, crazy fast. Here's the thing, and I'm not trying to be a wet blanket here. The Orioles selected a left-handed hitting prospect with their 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2025 first-round draft picks. Heston Kjerstad's 27. He was picked second overall in 2020. He's playing in AAA. Colton Cowser was picked fifth overall in 2021. He's a platoon center fielder with a lifetime 216, 300 slash line. Jackson Holliday was the 1-1 pick in 22. He's a platoon second baseman. Enrique Bradfield was 17th overall, or was it 17th or 22nd? Doesn't matter. Sub 700 OPS in AAA, projects as a fourth outfielder. And then you've got Ike Irish, who's off to a solid start, but most of these guys have played really well in the minor leagues. Why should we be excited about a pick of Eric Booth, especially when one of the first things we heard was they're going to need to make some adjustments to his swing path?
Yeah, I think with Booth, you're projecting that it fills a position of need for the Orioles and that they can finally potentially have the center fielder who can stick there for a long time. And with Booth, I mean, if you're following the projections, this guy could project out to be a 20 home run, 50 steal guy. You'll take that every day, absolutely.
100%.
And he should stick in center field too. With you hear 50 steals, he's going to have the speed to stick in center field as well. He's a strong defender. He should be a plus defender in center field. And if he can't stick in center, you can shuffle him over to one of the corners. But I don't think that's going to be an issue with him. And you mentioned the Orioles take left-handed hitter, left-handed hitter, left-handed hitter. This is the Mike Elias draft strategy. Comes from the Astros. You find one thing you like and you just hit it over and over and over, and eventually you're going to get some stars out of it. So I like Booth a lot. He projects really, really well. 6 feet tall, 207 pounds. That's what he's listed as right now. And he can fill out. This kid's 18 years old. He could get stronger. He could get faster. And the thing with him is, too, the raw talent is there. He's got fast hands. He's got a fast swing. The speed is already there. So the ceiling is mega high for this guy. And if he hits all of these benchmarks, you're looking at a perennial all-star.
Jake, talk to me about Ty Head, because, again, another left-handed hitter, but this is a guy that's considered one of the best defensive center fielders in the draft who can also hit. Tell me a little about him.
Yeah, Head coming out of college at NC State. So this is a very high floor pick for the Orioles. I think Head should be able to move pretty quickly through the minors. You should see him sooner rather than later, just because you see this with guys with his skill set in college. He's been in college for a couple of years. He's got really good bat to ball skills, a very strong defender. So that raises the floor exponentially for him. And you can expedite that process to the minors or to the majors, because those skills are going to translate. And if the Orioles can get him in center field, even if you're just for the defense, that shores up a need for you. And so he's somebody that I think they went with the upside with Booth, and then they kind of took a little bit of a safer, quote unquote, pick with Head here, because you could see the path to the majors pretty quickly because he's got some very strong skills already.
Nice.
With a guy like Eric Booth, because he's an 18-year-old high school pick, is this one of those guys where we're really not going to see the fruits of this draft pick for like 3, 4, maybe even 5 years?
Yeah, it's probably going to be 3 years at least. And of course, that depends on how fast he develops, how fast he grows. We can't really project those things. He's 18 years old. None of us are doctors. But, if he does start to grow and he starts to fill out his frame quickly, you could see him as early as 3 years. But with high schoolers, you generally want to say that 4 or 5 year mark just to be safe. And then if he gets there in 3 years, you're pleasantly surprised.
Jackson Holliday got here in 2 years, so
yeah.
We've seen it happen pretty quickly in the past. Now, with their third round pick, 82nd overall, they took a right-handed pitcher, big right-handed pitcher out of University of Kansas, Dominic Vagley.
Yes.
Tell us what we need to know about Vagley here.
What's so interesting about college pitching is you can't evaluate college pitching the same way you would evaluate pro pitching. You can't go to the ERA and say, because you're going to see an ugly number with Vagley for his ERA. But it's about the stuff, and it's about the projectionables. And he's got a really good fastball, but what really helps him, and I think why the Orioles ended up taking him as a third rounder, he's got elite breaking stuff. His secondary pitches are already very, very good. An elite curveball, an elite slider. It's why you saw him strike out 120 batters in just 97 innings at Kansas in this past season. So that's something that the Orioles should be really excited about. They clearly think that they can work with him there and say, okay, your fastball's already in the mid to high 90s. You already have elite stuff as with your breaking offerings to put guys away. We can mold everything else and make you a pretty good starter, and we can get that ERA down. Because especially in college, you're working with metal bats, you're working with smaller parks, but it's the stuff. And I think with Vaguely, he should stick in the rotation, but I think even if he doesn't, you're getting a really, really good reliever for the back end of the bullpen.
Can I throw a curveball in here before we get to the 4th-round pick?
Please.
David Lally Jr., pitcher out of Michigan here, was drafted out of high school, turned down close to $1 million, and the Orioles get him undrafted here. Is there something that could play here?
Yeah, I mean, you especially with guys who get drafted a couple of years and back-to-back seasons especially, and maybe there was some money negotiations that fell apart when he first got drafted, and this always happens with guys where it's hard as a high schooler, as a college player, to keep consistent seasons of excellent production. And if you fall off even just a little bit, you slide a lot. So yeah. I think with him, the same thing as Vaguely almost, or the stuff is there. And that's where a lot of these undrafted guys, you're looking at even just one elite pitch and you're taking a flyer and hoping that you can make something work out of it.
Cool. And then finally, Orioles 4th-round pick, 110th overall, another high school outfielder out of Jackson Preparatory School in Mississippi. Right-handed hitting, right-handed throwing, so going away from their MO recently. Kevin Roberts. Now, this pick, I saw a lot of hype around this pick. I saw a lot of people crazy happy about this pick. Tell us about Kevin Roberts, what we need to know about him.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Kevin Roberts Jr. He's 6'5", he's 220, and he's 17 years old. Like, this guy is only going – we talk about how Booth has great projectionables. Roberts has even better. Like, the ceiling is even higher for him, just how massive he is, how young he is. And this is a guy who was a projected 1st rounder at the beginning of the spring. And then, like I was saying, in high school ball, he slips a little bit. He falls all the way to the 4th round. And I think people in Baltimore and people who track this stuff are right to be excited about him, because this is a guy who already has plus power. He can already hit for power to all fields. And he's somebody who should get stronger, get bigger. As he matures and grows older, he's going to just get even better. And so this is a guy with a ton of potential. You're talking about a true difference maker here, potentially in the 4th round. Again, if everything goes right, if the projections go the way that we think. But I think Roberts is a guy who in the 4th round, you could see be making all-star games and starting all-star games here in 5-6 years. He's amazing. I'm obsessed with this guy.
It seems like a lot of people are on that boat with you. So you're getting me excited just talking about him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what all these guys can do once they get into the Orioles system and start their pro careers in earnest. Before we get you out of here, Jake, tell us about a prospect that maybe not a lot of people are talking about that we should start getting excited about that was drafted this year by the Orioles.
Sure. So I got 2 for you, actually. I'll go with the 6th rounder first. Zane Adams out of Alabama. Mm-hmm. He's a left-handed pitcher. What's interesting to me and what stood out to me is as a junior in college, and it's the SEC, and the SEC in college baseball is just as good as the minor leagues. Like, you're cutting your teeth against real, true pro prospects here. And at Alabama, again, even though the ERA wasn't great for Adams, he added some velocity to his fastball, which you don't usually see at 21 years old. And he, too, has a couple of good secondary pitches already, which usually guys have the raw fastball, but they need to develop second, third pitches. Adams comes in here as a 6th rounder, already has a couple of good plus pitches. So I'm very intrigued by him. If he could add maybe another tick of velocity and the Orioles can find a way to work with his whiff, with his secondary pitches where he gets a lot of whiffs, I think he's somebody who could project really, really well. And then in the 11th round, Ross Norman out of Coastal Carolina, I think this guy has the makings of an elite closer. He's 6'7". He's just an imposing force on the mound, already has a 98-mile-an-hour fastball, and he's another guy with just the stuff, the whiff stuff. He's got a cutter and a slider in the 80s already. Coastal Carolina is usually pretty good about pumping out pro pitchers. This has kind of been there. We saw Cameron Flukie go in the 1st round, and that was a guy who was injured most of the year. People just took him on pedigree alone. So Norman, who's a massive imposing presence on the mound, I think he's somebody with a 98 electric mile-an-hour fastball already. He's somebody that has the makings of a really, really good closer down the line.
We know something about tall, big body closers here in Baltimore. So when we hear about that, we like to hear that too. So, Jake, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at the Jake Hassan, Hasan, on Instagram, Hassan_Jake. You can follow my Substack, Hassan'sHacks.substack.com, putting out stuff, breakdowns, picks every single day there, and doing some college baseball breakdowns as well.
Jake, awesome stuff, man. We're gonna get you back on the show again here sometime in the future. Really appreciate you taking some time for us here on a Sunday night. You enjoy the rest of your evening, all right?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Anytime. Happy to do it.
See you.
Thanks, man.
That was Jake Hassan of Game Day Garage and Hassan's Hacks on Substack. Awesome intel on the Orioles' top 4 draft picks. I'm sold on Kevin Roberts, man. I was getting excited hearing him talk about that draft pick. And then a big-bodied closer. I can't remember. I already can't remember the name. Was it Zane that he was talking about?
Yeah, Zane was the lefty.
Okay. But the guy just has intel, and one of the things that made me reach out to him is he posted on his Twitter handle, if you host a baseball show and you want to talk about any of your team's draft picks, I'm your guy. I'd love to come on. And I'm like, how does this guy know about every draft pick for every team? And you can just tell that he lives and breathes this stuff. So
yeah.
Love having a guy like that on the show. A ton of energy there. So thanks again to Jake Hassan for joining us on today's show. Today's show is brought to you by Glenn Clark Radio. If you missed anything from Glenn Clark Radio this week, including conversations with Joe Flacco, Mike Florio, Raiders running back Roman Hemby, Phoenix Suns forward Hayward Highsmith, and more, you can find them in the Glenn Clark Radio Weekend Review feature at PressBoxOnline.com. And as always, watch or listen to GCR every Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. at PressBoxOnline.com/radio or right here on PressBox's Facebook and YouTube pages. Have you watched the newest season of Quarterback yet on Netflix?
No.
Joe Flacco's in it, and he's awesome. Like, I just love him that much more after seeing him in that show, man. He's just a dude.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Lots to talk about on tonight's show. Where do we want to start, man? Do we want to start with the Kyle Bradish extension, or do we want to start with the 7-game win streak?
Let's start with the win streak.
All right.
Because I don't think we thought we were getting there this year.
Yeah, look, the Orioles. When I went to put in the description for today's show, the description for the show 2 weeks ago was still up, and it said Orioles are now 0-7 in attempting to go for a 4-game winning streak. Well, they didn't go 0-8. They're now 1-7 in attempting it, and they kept it going. 4-game win streak to enter the All-Star break. Then they go to Houston. We thought it was going to be a really tough uphill battle for them to come out of the All-Star break. They go to Houston. They sweep them right out of their own ballpark.
They played
3 straight. They played look. The offense has started the second half a little slow, but the pitching has picked up right where it left off.
And the Orioles too.
They stole a game. They stole a game in Game 1 and in Game 2.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, big props to Tyler O'Neill. Big props to everybody, right? They did the little things right there. They're finally getting a little bit right on defense. They're hustling. They're just grinding out baseball games. And when you bring in a center fielder and you're basically waving the white flag more times than not, you're praying for a miracle, and a miracle happened. All props to Tyler O'Neill and Samuel Basayo on a good relay, good tag. Everything had to go perfect, and it did. And then you shout out to Kittredge, right? Guy tries to lay down a bunt. Jordan's going to score easily. He didn't even care. Like didn't even phase him. Right, the out was at first. The inning was over, and I don't think 3 weeks ago we get out of that inning. Even if Tyler O'Neill made that play 3 weeks ago, I think we screwed the bunt up. And it was great to see just a fundamentally sound baseball game. Yeah, our error's still going to happen, yes, because it's just life. But it's just nice to see the team just hustling again, just doing the little things right. And it won a baseball game. Tyler O'Neill getting out of the box, right? He saw the guy, Altuve playing deep, just getting out of the box. Gunnar hustling from second, even though he was 0 for 5. He didn't hang his head and sulk. He did a little bit earlier in the game, but that was the time to win it. And they both came through, and I tip my hat to them for that.
Yeah, no, it was a hard fought series. It came out with the victory. Today was a little bit easier than the first 2 games. But yeah, man, like they're playing their best baseball right now, and it's crazy to think that they're doing it without Blaze Alexander, who had his hand broken in that final game before the All-Star break. He's going to miss significant time. If it's not the rest of the season, we probably won't see him until September, in my opinion. like you said, you had Tyler O'Neill out there. You got Leody Taveras out there playing for you. Adley's nicked up right now. We don't know if he's going to miss any time. Basayo left today's game with a shoulder injury on a swing. We don't know if he's going to miss any time. So, like, you're headed into Boston, who has won 13 straight. They've just been playing out of their minds. They've won 18 out of 20. I mean, this was a team that was 31-46.
They were down and out.
They were 31-46, and now they are 2 games above 500 and leading in the third wild card spot. It's going to be. I'm really looking forward to this
after they
series.
fired the driveline guy, which is wild.
Like we're looking at a matchup tomorrow with the 2 hottest teams in baseball combined have won 20 straight games. What are you expecting from this series tomorrow?
I don't think you change a thing. You just keep going out there and you're grinding it away. Both teams are grinding right now. Can't let up. I mean, you make a mistake pitch right now, Boston's hitting out of the ballpark. That's been the difference. Is the Orioles aren't hitting those mistakes out of the ballpark right now, but they're playing good defense. Their pitching has been outstanding. I think you just got to try just to grind it out. Couple run, maybe 1 or 2 runs against the starter, and just hope you can get hot against one of their bullpen guys, and just hope you have another good start. Obviously, you'd love to see the offense kind of spark a little bit and get going. I'm just not 1,000% sure that the way that this lineup is still constructed that's going to happen. I think you got to move Gunnar, and I love Gunnar, and I still think there's a good ball player in there. I know a lot of people are very upset with him right now, and there's still a good baseball player in there under Gunnar Henderson. I just don't think – I think you finally have to pull him back and say, hey, you haven't figured this out by yourself. We're just moving you, and it's not anything other than we just need you to kind of just, take the foot off the gas a little bit. Just relax, dude, and then just go play baseball. He's still doing on defense. I give him a lot of props. He's going out there, and he's still trying his very best, and he's a hustle guy. That I forget who hit it, but that backhand slide play that he almost threw the guy out on, that was an elite play. Mm-hmm. An elite play. Not too many shortstops outside of the name Bobby Witt Jr. are making that play. Even keeping it in front of him. That ball was smoked. Elite play. He doesn't take it on the field very often, and I think they need to step in and help him out right now.
Yeah, and look, we wouldn't be so upset with Gunnar if we didn't know the type of player that he's capable of being. If we hadn't seen it with our own 2 eyes for the last 3 years, right? So if he's Colton Cowser, like, notice how we're not saying anything about Cowser, who is in a 5 for 48 slump right now.
Right.
We're like, oh, you know what? He hit those 2 walk-off home runs on back-to-back days, and he's playing good defense, and that's all we really care about right now. Gunnar Henderson is supposed to be the star, and that's why everybody's upset. And I posted yesterday, one of the things that it makes it magnified is the fact that it seems like a lot recently in late and close situations he's been coming up and hasn't been getting the job done. He got the job done today. He had an RBI single to give the Orioles an early 1-0 lead, and then he stole home. That was the Gunnar Henderson that we know is in there. Like, he hasn't been that dude all year, but he was that dude in that moment today.
Yep.
That guy's in there. And, like, look, at some point you have to stop batting him first, second, or third based on what he's done and lower him based on what he's doing. And again,
yes.
Like, we're not trying to be negative during, like, the most positive point of the season. Like, this team's playing great baseball, and Gunnar Henderson still on July 19th has not gotten it going yet. Imagine if he does, and imagine what moving him. Imagine if he gets it going, hitting 6th or 7th for this ball club, and how much better it's going to be for the rest of this lineup when he does start getting it going. So, look, it's going to be a tough, hard-fought series. We said 4-2 against Houston and Boston would have us feeling better about this team. Zach, they only have to win 1 game in Boston. Does 4-2 now still satisfy you, or do you want to be 5-1, 6-0? Did we lose you? Did you freeze up there? So for me, while we're waiting for Zack to come back, for me, the situation with the Orioles, it's like when you go into a series and you're like, look, I just want to win the series, and you win the first 2 games and then you lose the 3rd game. Yeah, you won the series. You feel great about that. but it's kind of like kissing your sister because you didn't win. You had an opportunity for the sweep and you didn't get it. Now that the Orioles have won, have swept the Astros, I'm looking at a situation where go win 2 out of 3 against Boston. Yeah, you can win one of these games and still be 4-2, still be 4-2 in those 6 games. But now that you won the first 3, go win 2 more. Go win 3 more. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. Boston's playing out of their minds right now. 13-game winning streak. But you can go in there and you can make a statement with this series by going into Boston and winning 2 out of 3 or even sweeping the series. I try not to get too up when I talk about this team because every time I get really really positive about this team, they tend to start playing poorly. Like I take full responsibility for their downward turn in 2024. I called them the best team in baseball, and then I think they lost like 7 straight and were like 6 games under 500 the rest of the year. So I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious. We got Zack back here. But look, the Orioles are playing their best baseball of the year, and it's been beautiful to see. And you just had the feeling they were sweeping the Astros today. You had that feeling that they were going to get it done. So, oh yeah, I don't think you're muted, but we can't hear you. But what I do want to know is their next 4 series heading into the trade deadline. They're in Boston, then they've got Atlanta, Detroit, Philadelphia. Boston's the hottest team in baseball. Atlanta's in first place in the NL East, and they have been all year. Detroit has been playing some great baseball ever since Tarek Skubal came back into their rotation. And then the Phillies, I think, have the best record in baseball since firing a manager and putting the interim tag on Don Mattingly. The Orioles' season hinges on these next 4 series. Zach, do we have you yet, or? So it still can't hear you. The Orioles season hinges on these next 4 series. Now, I don't know what we're expecting out of them to make it so that they're going to be buyers at the deadline. I think they're going to be buyers anyway. But it's going to be tough sledding to get there. The good news is they're playing their best baseball of the year. They've got all the momentum in the world. They went in and they stole arguably those first 2 games in Houston, came out of there with a sweep. They're feeling great about themselves. They look like a completely different ball club right now, and it's funny because we've got guys. We definitely got you back now.
Okay. Had another power hit.
Oh damn.
We got wrecked yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, yeah. I think we have 192 trees they've counted so far down within 1 mile of my house.
Wow, that's crazy.
They had 2 little dots on the thing, so like I guess 2 tornadoes, or I guess the path of tornado literally went through like the front of my neighborhood and like all the way down through the whole little area and just wrecked the whole line.
It got super dark where I am, and it looked like it was going to do something nasty, but it was really not much up here. So
I couldn't even see my deck from literally the window.
Wow.
It was raining so hard.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
So what I was just saying while you were trying to get all that figured out is, do you feel like we said 4-2 against the Astros and the Red Sox to have us feeling good about this team, but since the Orioles won the first 3 games, are you looking at it now as like when you're in a series and you win the first 2 games and you want to sweep, but if you don't sweep, it doesn't have the same feeling because you didn't win that 3rd game?
I mean, yeah, if you looked at now, if they go into Boston and go 1-2, how it kind of puts you behind, will we still be ecstatic about it? I mean, I don't know, because expectations now have kind of crept back up to where we expected them to be, and now we expect this team to win. It's tough. I mean, obviously, it still puts you. Well, you would think that it puts you in a good spot, but Seattle still keeps winning and Boston still keeps winning. So now the pressure's gotten a little tighter. You know, if the AL was still kind of just poop, 4-2 would have been great. But now I think you got to find a way to go 5-1. I don't know how. It's going to be hard. It's going to be extremely hard.
And that's what I was just saying, is I think that, like, at this point, because you won the first 3 games, you want to go make a statement.
Yeah.
You're going into Boston. They've won 13 straight. You've won 7 straight. They're feeling great about themselves. You want to make a statement to the baseball world, like, hey, we're here and we ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And Zach, then you've got to go. You've got to come home and play Atlanta. You've got to play Detroit, and then you've got to play Philadelphia. All this leading into the trade deadline.
Yep.
What do we need to see from the Orioles to feel good about their deadline? What they're going to do at the deadline, and their prospects for the rest of the season? What do we need to see in these next 4 series?
Are they playing? Is it every one of them 3-game series? So is it 12 games
Yes.
to the deadline?
I believe so.
8-4.
Yeah.
I think that's the only thing that kind of puts you in a really good striking spot. Just because of how Seattle's playing, how Boston's been playing, you want to gain ground. You don't want to lose ground. I think anything less than 8-4, you're probably going to lose a little bit of ground the way these two teams are playing. They're figuring it out finally. That gets you to a point. I think you need to start looking at buying some bats, and like we talked about a lot. I think Kobe Mayo's had a fair share to earn the starting third baseman job. I think I'm very content with him in a platoon role right now. Right now, facing lefties. I'm not saying that his career is over and he'll never be able to play a full-time third baseman. Just right now, I think this team is better off having somebody that could do it, and a center fielder. I mean, I'm one of the biggest Cowser fans out there. I love his defense. Maybe the Orioles don't long term. Obviously, they're investing heavy into center field. Multiple years now. It's not just been just this year. But, I mean, the problem is center field is such a dense position. There's nothing really out there that's probably even available. I mean, the Twins are right there with us. They're not trading Buxton. They're not trading Joe Ryan, in my opinion. I'm still on the fence of even if like we're going to even trade Taylor Ward. Like, I feel like you could probably get better on defense not having him, but I will say that the bat's coming around a little bit, back to where we kind of expected it. Driving the ball just a little bit more. He's still taking the walks, which is fine. I don't know. I can't sit here with a straight face and say, yes, absolutely getting rid of him makes your team better. But if you were able to acquire a corner outfielder or somebody who can play center and left, and then, or if you got even good news on Blaze, like he's only going to miss 3 weeks somehow, or just somehow, I'd feel okay with Dylan Beavers for 3 weeks and then coming back with Blaze. But I do think that Ward would probably net you somebody pretty good in the bullpen or something else. The problem is some teams are probably going to offer prospects for Taylor Ward, and I don't think prospects at this point help us.
Yeah.
So you're going to need major league talent in return. When you're probably trading to somebody who needs outfield help, you're going to ask for bullpen. Who's really going to give up bullpen in the second half? Not too many teams in contention are going to give up bullpen. So he may stay here. As much as I would love to maybe move on from him, I think without the absolute right package, he's definitely going to be here. But at that point, it just leaves you with third base or center field. And I think we're pretty comfortable with that. I don't know, man. I'm sitting here trying to think of like what else. Like, yeah, I'm a big Jung Hoo Lee guy. I've said it multiple times. He can play center field. He's not a center fielder, but he can play it, and he plays it okay. I mean, Jake McCarthy would be fairly good. But for this team, and I know the bullpen's pitched really well recently. They're top 5 bullpen in June and July. I still think you go out and you got to find a closer. I love what Tyler Wells has done. I don't want Tyler Wells pitching every single day. I would go out and find a bona fide closer, maybe a left-handed specialist who can throw upper 90s. Again, finding a team that's willing to let kind of those guys go, I think that's going to be the hard part. But that's what's going to be the difference in this team right now is bullpen and center field.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to trade Ward because, like you said, I think that they would only get prospects. I don't think they're getting big league help for Ward. And you're not trading Ward unless you're getting something.
Right.
Unless you're blown away by the package, which you're not going to be. You're not trading Ward for somebody that's not going to help you this season.
If they weren't on a 7-game win streak and they went 2-4 coming out of this break here with Houston and Boston, yes, 100%. I think you go and trade Taylor Ward for prospects, guys that are in getting ready to graduate out of AA or performing well in AAA, and you're pretty happy with that. But now it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. And I seen somebody mention Luke Weaver. Would love Luke Weaver. Would love Mason Miller. It's going to cost a lot. Josh Hader would also cost a lot. But, I mean, hey, if you're in that point and you think you got it, it's time to go make a jump and bring one of these guys home.
My surprise acquisition before the season was Mason Miller.
Yeah.
And the Padres just made it be known, I think this over the weekend, that he's going to be available via trade. I don't know what you're going to have to give because I think he still has 4 years of control after this year or 3. He's the best closer in the game. There's a lot of people that believe he can still be a legitimate starter in this.
And they don't even
as
need
well.
him. Isn't that crazy? They don't need him because Morjan is really good too. And they have another guy that's also really, 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 really good. So, I mean, kudos to them. You know, they get to maybe restock their farm.
I mean, Mike Elias is he's trying to keep his job, right? This 7-game winning streak right now is helping. He's going to have to make a big splash. I also think that the Orioles could really get a lot just from the San Francisco Giants. They're going nowhere this year. I mean, you could get Arise, you could get Devers, you could get Chapman, you could get Lee.
So let me ask you. I feel like I know the answer to this question. If you were to acquire Logan Webb and Araz, would you send Jackson Holiday back?
I think you asked me this a couple of weeks ago on the show.
Now that we're in the position that we're in.
I can't do it. I can't do it because, like, look, the Orioles starting rotation, they just locked up Bradish. They've locked up Boz. I think they're going to be big players in the offseason going after starting pitching. And Araz is only here for the rest of this year.
Next year too, right?
No,
was it a 2-year deal?
I think he's a free agent at the end of this year.
Was he?
So I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's a rental. And like, I know the Holiday's not getting the playing time that he probably should be getting, but this month he's got almost twice as many walks compared to strikeouts. He's putting the bat on the ball. The at bats look better. I'm thinking
1 year deal.
Right. Yeah.
So if you did Jung Hoo Lee, Logan Webb, and Luis Araz, then would you do Holiday?
No, because I'm just not as big. I'm not as high on Lee as you are.
What about Logan Webb though?
That's
like going to take
Webb.
something.
I love Logan Webb. And look, you're going to have to give me somebody that's going to play third base for this team next year. Because then I can justify sending Holiday because then you can put Westberg at second base next season. You know, so like you're going to have to give me somebody that's going to play third base for this team next year. And for me, like if it's not Devers or Chapman in that deal, then I'm not giving you Holiday.
Right.
You know, and I love Logan Webb, and Logan Webb is a bona fide top of the rotation starter. But we agree that that's not really what they need right now. Like we do want a top of the rotation starter that has control, but they need relief help, they need outfield help, they need third base help, and then they need starter help. And that right now that would be a luxury to get that starting pitcher. So if I thought that they were a starter away, maybe it's a different conversation, but they're not.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I'm looking at their bullpen help too. I mean, their closer he's got a 4.6 ERA. You know, he walks a lot of guys. I mean, I just don't see enough out of them that could help outside of those couple guys. And look, they need offense, so I'm definitely willing to do some of that. I'm with you. I think third base. I think I would trade Holiday for the right package. But I think that right package would have to be an arm, I think.
Well, I think that I'm not putting him in that package for a rental second baseman and a starting pitcher who struggled the first half of this year. You know, like for me, it's got to be you've got to fill multiple holes for me to be ready to trade Holiday. Now, look, if we get to the end of this year or maybe into next season, if there is baseball, and we know there's going to be baseball next year. Like people say there's not going to be, they will find a way to figure it out. They will figure it
1,000%. At most for me, they miss a week or two.
Yeah, they're gonna play over 100 games next year. For me, like I'm not ready to give up on Holiday yet, and especially if it's not gonna if giving him up isn't gonna fill multiple holes.
So I see a lot of people talking about Devers. I
yeah,
like.
he's not a good third baseman. I know that.
Do we want to take the headache on? Like, listen, he's a good ball player. He hits, and he hits very well in Camden Yards, and I get it. He knows how to hit in the East, and I get all of it. But there is headaches that come with him. Is this
Yeah.
team in a position to handle a headache?
I mean, what is a great?
I feel like if they wanted a headache, Framber Valdez would have been here.
That's fair, but what has a great cohesive clubhouse filled with camaraderie gotten them to this point?
Good pitching.
Yeah. Good pitching, but it
Good
took
pitching.
it took the fourth year of their window to get that great pitching.
Yeah.
You know,
Devers
Because-
would take it away from Basayo a lot, and I feel like that could grow into the same player.
yeah.
2 years from now.
I don't disagree with you there. And that's the thing, man. The teams that like, I feel like we have this holier than thou mentality in Baltimore. Like, we don't want that type of player in Baltimore. Well, that type of player helps you win championships.
Right.
You know, so like, maybe
In every
we-
sport.
Yeah, maybe we should, you know, kind of stop having the. And I'm not saying you, but us in general.
Yeah.
Stop having that holier than thou mentality and be like, you know what? At the end of the day, if this guy helps us win, then let him be a headache.
Yeah.
Let him be a headache because I'll take 280, 35 homers, and 110 RBI headache every single year.
So then let me ask you another question. Do you bite a bullet and acquire Bo Bichette?
Yeah. I wanted them to sign Bo Bichette in the offseason.
Me too.
Like, Bo
He's
Bichette.
had an okay year. I think he's a better hitter than he's done, but I mean, I'll take 251 with 10 home runs, honestly.
He got off to a dreadfully slow start.
Yeah.
And
he's still got a 667 OPS. I mean, we're talking a guy struggling worse than Gunnar Henderson right now.
But I mean, you bring him into Baltimore, back into a division that he's comfortable with, hitting in stadiums that he's comfortable in. You bat him second in your order. I think that Bo Bichette makes your team better.
So you don't give me Bo Bichette. He's hitting 300 since June 1st with a 798 OPS.
Yeah.
With 5 home runs and 23 RBIs with just 32 strikeouts and 150 at bats.
Yeah. Bo
Give me Bo
Bichette is a professional hitter.
Yes.
What's going on with the Mets is like mind-boggling to me. That you have that much star power on your roster and you're that bad. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. Give me Bo Bichette in a heartbeat. I mean,
But here's the problem. Bo Bichette comes here and likes it. You're paying him $55 million. You're paying him $110 million for 2 years. That's a problem.
Didn't our owner spend $27 million on the Magna Carta?
Yeah, but that's a different bank account that all that's coming out of.
Yeah, but my thing is, I think for the right player, I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
Lord, it's not my money.
Solidifies third base. I mean,
Yeah.
not the best arm in the world, not the best glove in the world, but I think he's good enough. Also, he's a backup to Gunnar if God forbid Gunnar gets hurt. Can play a shortstop for a game or two. Here's what I'm afraid of, right? To acquire somebody like that would be a Boston Bateman, but he was removed the other day with tightness in the arm. Mm-hmm. So that was a big chip that you could use to go and acquire a really good bat that you probably don't have anymore. So now they have to look elsewhere. Now you may have to climb up even higher. I mean, Trey Gibson to me, I think is tradable.
I think he is too.
I think it's just got to be for the right guy.
But you know what though? I wasn't high on Brandon Young at all. He's been their most consistent starter. So,
Drafted free agent, baby.
AJ just said this. AJ Mukherjee. Paul, do you acquire Aldis Chapman to win a championship? Love Paul's Chapman rants. Who is a complete a-hole. I hate Aroldis Chapman. Anybody that puts their hands on women, any man that puts their hands on women is a grade a-hole, in my opinion. But the fact that I've even thought like I'd let him pitch for my team this year. It kind of shows like how desperate I've become with the Orioles. But Boston ain't trading him now, not the
Right.
way they're playing. So that's not even a thing anymore. And Chapman would come here and revert back to his end of Yankees days.
Somehow, yeah.
In my opinion. So like for me, like I'll take Hader, I'll take Mason Miller. I'll take Daniel Lynch out of Kansas City. I don't know. He's got like 4 years of control, so I don't know if they're willing to get rid of him. But that's a nice lefty that would look really good in the Orioles bullpen.
Yep.
You know, I think that they're going to make a big splash or two at this deadline. I think that they know that they have a couple of holes that they need to fill. And I think Mike Elias is going to do his due diligence because he has to. If you miss the playoffs again, you don't like. Here's the other thing. He's been promoted to president of baseball operations, and he said
Right.
last offseason that he wants to hire a GM. So is Mike Elias' job really on the line?
I think so.
You think so? You don't
I think everything baseball related falls on his shoulders right now.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if they wanted to go in a different direction, yeah, 1,000%, I think his job's on the line.
Okay.
But
Because
I think that has to come from the absolute top.
yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I got 3 minutes of sleep last night, so my brain, I'll be thinking of something and it just goes away and I can't get it back. So, what I will tell you is that the latest issue of Press Box is available now, and on the cover, Dave LaMonaco profiles how Orioles play-by-play broadcaster Kevin Brown became an amiable mainstay in Baltimore and one of the top voices in all of baseball. Also inside, Antonio Barbera looks at whether the championship window is narrowing for the Ravens veteran core, and it's our special travel issue with a look at sports tourism options for you and your family around Maryland this summer. Be on the lookout for the new print issue for free at your Baltimore area High's Dairy stores and also read it at PressBoxOnline.com. Kyle Bradish has signed a 5-year, $90 million extension. He joins Shane Baz with the 5-year extension atop this Orioles rotation for the next 5 seasons. I think this is a steal
Yes.
for the Orioles. I think he's going to make like 23 and 28 million each of the last 2 years of this contract.
Yep.
But 18 million average annual value for the type of pitcher that Kyle that is an absolute steal
Yeah.
for that pitcher. You know, to have him at the top of your rotation, I think we were all, and I said this yesterday, say what you want about Mike Elias, but these contract extensions have been mwah.
Yeah. Yep. They have been very, very team friendly, while still giving a guy a pretty solid, payday. I'm trying to find the article that I read yesterday, and I saved it, and I didn't. It wasn't even an article, but it was basically a tidbit on who Kyle Bradish was. And it was back during the Bundy trade, and it basically said that this guy would never stick in the starting rotation. His fastball was just 92 to 93, didn't have much movement. They seen him more as a bullpen arm that could maybe tack on up to 95, maybe 96. Never really seen him as a top tier pitching prospect. They thought that they absolutely fleeced us with Dylan Bundy. That worked out pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
That worked out pretty well. That's the Angels being the Angels right there.
Yeah, like this. I've been saying since the end of last season, he came back from Tommy John surgery and looked as good, if not better than ever. And I was like, you got to sign this guy to an extension. He's got to get an extension. When I was in the car and I heard Brett Hollander say it on the radio on my way to the restaurant last night, I about drove off the side of the road. I was so damn happy, so damn excited because that's an ace caliber pitcher that you just got for $18 million a year.
10 next year. That's it.
Yeah, it's insane.
I didn't even get to enjoy it because when we lost power from this storm, somehow the cell tower actually knocked out Verizon in the area. So I sat in the dark for two hours, literally. No phone, no nothing. And then I came back and I was just like, oh, cool. Kyle Bradish is extended. I can't talk about this 2 hours later. So that was fun.
Oh, man. Well, I loved every bit of it. Now the question is, do you extend Trevor Rogers
1,000%.
and really lock up this rotation?
1,000%. 4 years. I think 4 years is good for Rogers. Gets him to a point where he can get another payday. I think you stay around 21, 22 for him. We'll say 4 for 85, something like that. I think is more than acceptable for Trevor Rogers, and I think he would probably take it. And I felt like his comments about Bradish, being really excited for him, getting to stay here and whatnot. This dude wants to be here.
He wants.
I think
to
he
be
wants
here,
to be here.
100%.
But I would love having, because we've had this problem for years where we go into the offseason, we're like, all right, we need 2 or 3 starters, and we end up with these old guys. It's fantastic right now knowing that you have Kyle Bradish, Shane Baz, and Brandon Young available next year. Technically, right now, Zach Eflin, but they're not mutually optioning that $25 million. So
yeah,
I'm just saying technically, but it's not technically. But yes, bring in Rodgers. Have your 4 that are here for the next 5 years together, which I think is outstanding because you also have a catcher here with them for their all 5 years, and then you get to play with. If you want to bring in another guy, if not, you got Luis De Leon, you got Joe D, you've got Trey Gibson, who could make the same jump that Brandon Young just made. You've all of a sudden your pitching depth is outstanding, something that we haven't seen in a very long time. Give me Trevor Rogers.
Yeah.
There's no point in you trying to go out and replace what you're missing, even if he's not an ace. I don't care. Because you're going to try and replace that, and you're not. I don't think you're going to get to where he's at.
Well, and I do believe that the Orioles, and I don't know why I believe it because they never do it, but something is telling me that the Orioles are going to go out and sign a legitimate ace to a long-term contract next off season.
It's cool.
And
give me 5 guys.
And if you're going to sign that guy, and then Trevor Rogers suddenly becomes your number 3 or your number 4, and we're talking about a guy who is now pitching like
Shane
he
Baz
did
is
last
number
year.
5.
Yeah.
You're in a good spot.
Yeah, Trevor Rogers is pitching like he did last year now, and he has for the last 6 weeks, right? Like what he's doing right now. I want that guy in my rotation. If he's your number,
Remember
3,
he missed time because he was sick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the flu.
Do you think
really bad.
Do you think it really messed with him for those couple starts?
I don't know, man. I mean, he missed time after he had already been really bad for like 6 starts.
Yeah.
Right? And then he came back. And I think it messed with his durability because he came back and he looked
tired.
He looked decent in that first game back, but he gives up the 2 2-run homers, right?
Yeah.
So his line says 6 innings, 4 runs, but those 4 runs scored in the 7th inning. He had 6 shutout innings. Then he comes out the next start and he actually does complete 6 shutout innings,
right.
And he just has taken off since then.
Yeah.
I think that it really destroyed his body, and it was difficult for him to come back. I don't know how much of that was an impact before he hit the IL.
Okay.
I don't know if he had the flu and just was trying to pitch through it and not recovering, and that's why he was so bad. It would make a lot of sense, but I'm not a doctor. I'm just the son of one, So I have no idea.
And speaking of Zach Eflin, right? If he's able to come back, right? I know they're going to decline the $25 million option, but we're talking about a guy here who's got 9. We're going almost at 9.1 service years, right? You get to 10, you get some pretty big perks in the major leagues. Would you give Zach Eflin like a 1-year, $3 million deal?
Yeah, I would.
Because Giolito was healthy and had a pretty decent year and only got $3 million.
Yeah, I would give him that deal because one, it's not a lot of money for a good pitcher who, when he's healthy, can be a great part of your rotation. He's rotational depth at that point.
Yeah,
and I think he wants to be here.
Yeah, and that's a guy you can say like, hey, here's $3 million. Like, take your time rehabbing, and then obviously because an injury is going to happen. But I think you feel better in June that Zach Eflin's going to take the bump rather than Luis De Leon for right now, right? Because you just don't know what you're going to get out of a prospect. I think he takes a crazy low deal to get to that 10-year service time too.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wants to be here, and I think that the Orioles love him. And if I mean, the way he was pitching towards the end of spring training, and the way that he was pitching those first 3 innings of that start,
Yeah.
he looked like that dude again. And like to have that Tommy John surgery pop up like that sucked.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. He's probably not going to be able to come back till June anyway. So I'm. Somebody on here said I'd resign Eflin for the bullpen. I don't.
To get this 10 years, he may do it. Who knows?
But I don't
You're
necessarily.
talking lifetime
think,
benefits for your family.
Oh, for sure. There's that. But I think he's going to have a job somewhere.
Yeah, yeah.
And I also don't think that just because you're a good starting pitcher means that translates to a good reliever.
Yeah.
Chris Bassett's a guy that can do it, but not everybody can do that.
Right.
So
it's hard to get up quickly. Mm-hmm. Hey, you got 2 minutes to get yourself ready.
Yeah.
Some guys can do it, some guys can't.
Somebody, I saw somebody talking about this. There was a rumor because of him catching Baker and catching Rasmussen in the All-Star game and Rasmussen in college. They were college teammates. That Adley might be on the trade block and Tampa might be interested. Is Adley Rutschman getting traded or extended? And I'll tell you, I was on the Vinny and Haney show on Wednesday, and Vinny asked me straight point blank, "Are the O's trading Rutschman?" And I said, I think that the Orioles go as Rutschman goes.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Basayo is a long-term catcher because of his body type. So for me, I think that you should be trying to extend Adley, not trade him.
If they sent you Caden Bodine back, would you feel better?
Oh, absolutely. But they're not. Why would they do that?
See, my thing is, I don't think trading Adley helps your baseball team next year. But how much longer can Adley stay behind the plate? Like, we're already talking about a guy who needs a day off, twice a week already? Mm-hmm. And he's touching 30 soon. Do I think that he's good enough to move to first base or DH full time? No, not with the bat. I just don't see right now how it helps the team, but I do see how it helps the team to not extend him, if that makes sense.
I get that.
I'm in a ditch here, and I'm trying to climb up either side and convince myself that yes, trade him or no, don't trade him. And I feel like I'm falling down each wall. I can't get out. I don't know long term what's better for the Orioles.
I think that you have to that you extend him because I think that he
for how
is,
long? That's the question.
That's the $1 million question.
Like, do you take a 2-year deal, 3-year deal?
He won't take that deal.
That's what I'm saying. He's going to look for a pretty solid deal, and I don't think he's going to catch that long.
I don't know. I think he's going to catch longer than Basayo does.
You think so?
Although Salvador Perez is a big-bodied catcher, and he would catch like 145 games a year.
He'd still do it if they didn't have a pretty good catcher behind him.
Yeah. So, but I mean, the kid's 21 years old, and he's already getting nicked up every other week.
Right.
Right. So.
Well, coming into the season, he always started the season on the IL with some kind of arm injury. So his arms are a problem. I don't know why. His elbow and bicep tendonitis or whatever. He had that 1 year, hyperextended the elbow. He's always had some kind of arm issues. Granted, knock on wood, not any kind of structural issues, but some minor injuries that have held him up from staying behind the plate consistently. I don't know. That's why I'm sitting here. I think Adley helps your team 1,000% this year and probably next year. I just don't know if 5 years for Adley is smart.
The thing with Adley is he helps your team whether you trade him or keep him.
Yes.
Like, if he's your biggest trade chip if you're going to trade him.
Yes.
And if you're going to keep him, we've seen that this team goes as Adley goes. So...
O's fan KY, there's no shot Adley Rutschman gets 23-28. He's not better than Will Smith, who only got 14.
Yeah.
So, an extension for Adley is roughly around 10 to 12. If you wanted to go 5 years, you could go 5 for 65, maybe 5 for 70 for Adley. And that's team friendly. It's probably a good deal for him. I just don't know if 5 more years. I mean, you're talking a 33-year-old Adley Rushman who already needs 2 to 3 days a week off. So we say. We don't really know why. But
I think they're just trying to keep him healthy. I think he'd play
for
every
what
day.
though?
Well, because he hasn't been the last 2 years.
True.
And so I think that they're just trying to keep him healthy. 'Cause I don't think Adley needs the day off. I think they're telling him, "Hey, you're getting the day off.
Yeah.
You're too important to us. We need to keep you healthy and fresh." I don't know, man. The other thing that I wanted to talk about is this 7-game win streak. The offense has not been great
No.
with the 7-game win streak. Does that shake your confidence with it? Like, is this 7 game? And I have to ask this because I have to ask it. I host the show. I have to ask it. Is it being done with smoke and mirrors? Like, how long can you keep it up with the offense getting out hit by the other team every day? Like, they had 4 hits today.
You can't keep it up long term, but it is nice to see them grinding at least and finding a way to win. Because those were games that they were losing early in the season because they just couldn't find a way. And I posted it yesterday, and it shocked me, and I need to go back and double check now because now we played a game. But runners in scoring position.
Astros were terrible this series.
Oh, yeah. What did I say? It was like June or July. July 9th is what I went by. They are hitting 317 as a team coming into today, which has them 6th best in baseball, right? And I the little meme that I put on there was like, I'm not even going to ask because I didn't understand it. Like we see our offense not really doing anything, but yet they are hitting 317. Now, granted, their 17 runs scored is only ranked like 19th. But they're finding a way to push a run across. And I do love this, though. And they just have 8 strikeouts since July 9th with runners in scoring position. That's awesome. The leader's got 28.
You also have to consider that that's 10 days with an all-star break in between.
Yeah, but other teams are worse. So
Yeah.
I'll take something out of that. God, the Dodgers have only struck out 3 times in 50 at-bats. Wow, that's fantastic. That's why they're the Dodgers.
They have an all-star team.
Yeah, and it's just it's not sustained success at all. I'm not going to sit here and say every single night just go out there and rely on your pitching and score 3 runs and you'll be fine. That's not a recipe to win very much in the major leagues. They need to find a way to get going, 100%. Several guys are on the struggle bus.
Alonso, Basayo, but this is the worst Basayo's looked all year.
Yeah,
And-
but I
and-
feel like he's gone through a stretch too where he kind of really sucked for a bit, and he was hitting like 150, and then he exploded again for a couple weeks. And I think that's just what you're going to get out of a 21-year-old, and I'm fine with that, honestly, because he's not
Alonso-
here to carry the offense. He's here to complement it right now as a 21-year-old.
Alonso looks about as lost as he's looked at any point this season.
Yeah.
Right now, his at bats have been. Did you see that swing at a curveball today in his
Yes.
first at bat?
Oh no, today? No, not today.
He took a swing at a curveball at a first pitch curveball in his first at bat today. That I've never seen a swing like this in all my life. It was ugly, like it was the ugliest swing I think I've ever seen by a professional baseball player. He looks lost at the dish right
Dude,
now.
yesterday, and was it the 10th, when he took 3 straight fastballs at 92 on the inner half, and I'm just like, what are we doing looking up at the plate here, not looking for a fastball?
Right.
With runners in scoring position here, what are we doing?
I
And he was just looking for a changeup, I guess. I don't know, but it was mind-boggling. Like, how do you not even swing the bat? Like, even just try to foul it off. Like, it's 92, dude.
I've watched a lot of Orioles take a lot of fastballs down the middle for strike 3 over the last couple of years.
If it's 98, 100, I get it. 92, dude, you got like 4 seconds in your major league eye. Obviously, that's not true, but these guys are that talented where it feels like 4 seconds at 92 where they could just flick it off. No, they give up on it. Drives me nuts. But just lost. Kowser's down in the hole bad right now. Alonso, Gunner's not performing at all, really. Holiday's been a little bit better, but it's not sustained success at all. They got to get going. Last time, why couldn't we face Brian Bielo or something like that? That'd be great. I think I got a lot of them out of a funk last time.
Well,
they put up 9 in the first inning or something.
I think they scored 7 in the first inning. But then they
didn't get hit.
They didn't get another run off of him for like 4 more. And he still pitched into the 5th inning, which was like absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Today's show has been brought to you by County Sports Zone. All summer long, find the latest news about high school coaching changes and previews for football season by visiting countysports.zone. Countysports.zone is proudly sponsored by your local Toyota dealer and buyatoyota.com. Also, your car is more than just a ride. It's an investment. At Leading Edge Auto Body in Mount Washington, customer satisfaction comes first. Their team holds the highest honors in the industry, including ASE Master, iCar Platinum, and specialized aluminum certifications, and they make it easy with free towing, pickup, and delivery. Find out more at leadingedgeautobody.com. Anything else you want to get to before we get out of here tonight?
I feel like we've beaten a dead horse, but if the offense gets going, I think this team's back on track. With the way the pitching's been, I love the starting pitching right now. I think adding 1 or 2 more, and again, credit to Drew French keeping it together. I know we've had our share of comments about Keegan Aiken this year and our feelings about Keegan Aiken, but he's a guy that I think you trust more than maybe what else they've put in this bullpen at times. So to lose him, it's not a great feeling. Ryan Helsley, obviously, huge loss, and they've kept it together. How long they can keep it together, that's what I don't know. I would love to see them get some help. But, again, credit Drew French, because this dude that they brought in, was it Colonel Sanders?
Yeah.
I don't know his real name. Cam Sanders or something like that? Cameron
Sanders, yeah.
The horrific season with Pittsburgh, who – I feel like teaches pitching pretty freaking good, and he comes here and has 2 outstanding outings.
Orioles legend. Orioles
right.
legend.
So, again, just a big kudos show to Drew French for what's happened this year and honestly what he's been dealt with for 2 seasons now, and just to kind of keep it together with a bunch of Band-Aids and whatnot and just continuing to give the O's a shot. Give that man something in the bullpen to really work with and see where we can go. And maybe the offense will get going. I don't want to say they're going to do this all year because it's impossible, but it's been a little while.
Cowser had a good 2.5 weeks. Story of his career.
Yes.
Story of his career. So
we talked about it last week, though. Could he be a dark horse trade candidate? Because center field is thin, and he's young. He's got control.
And somebody's going to look at him and think, we can fix him.
1,000%. They did with Kyle Lewis after he won Rookie of the Year and then couldn't hit anymore. He's still got another opportunity. For some reason, I don't know. They've invested a lot in center field. I know they don't have anything ready right now at all. I don't know. I still love the kid, and I still think he can figure it out, and he's still an absolutely phenomenal defender. But I just feel like somebody may really value him. And I'm not saying the Orioles are going to look to trade him. I'm saying I think somebody values him enough to call the Orioles.
Nervous or confident heading to the deadline with the next 4 series about to start?
Nervous.
Me too.
Confident in the pitching, nervous in the hitting.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I think that you have these injuries going to rear their ugly head with if Adley's missing time, if Basayo's missing time, we know Blaze is missing time, and you've got to play Leote. And like look, it's Leote had a couple more hits today. He's been performing really, really well with runners in scoring position. But when guys like that start to play every day, they tend to get exposed. And so, like, my hope is that they can keep the good times going, and they can play well enough to get some help at the deadline. Because if they want to get into the playoffs, they're going to need help the rest of the way, I think.
Look at Christian's comment. Cowser for Bow and Weaver.
Well,
I mean, I think the Mets would be all over that. Because they tried with Luis Robert, right? They wanted a controllable young center fielder. I think the Mets would go for that. I really do.
I'd go for it.
That would really help the team, big time.
Yeah. Well,
Big
we're gonna
time.
see what's we're gonna see what's gonna happen. I firmly believe a big splash or 2 or 3 is coming at this deadline for the Orioles. But right now, what we do know, playing the best ball of the year, 7-game win streak, heading into Boston to take on the red hot Red Sox who have won 18 of 20 and 13 straight overall. Gonna be hopefully gonna be a fun series. It gets started tomorrow with Shane Baz on the bump. Looking forward to it. Special thank you to Jake Hassan for coming on to the show tonight to talk about the Orioles draft picks. Thank you to all of our sponsors. Without you, we don't have a show. Thank you to all of our loyal listeners and viewers. Without you, we 100% do not have a show. We'll be back same time next week. Until then, see ya!